Morning, everybody. Welcome back to BYT. I am going to finish wiring up the tail lights and install the license plate light and the 7-prong harness or plug for the trailer lights. So stick with me and we'll get it done. Well, here's where we're at. I was a little off on these two holes, so I did it again. And the only reason I was off is because I used these with the ovals in it instead of using a regular plate that only has 2 holes in it. And then there's the license plate light. I'm gonna have to get up underneath, wire this in. I still have to wire these in. Got all my stuff together. I may have to find some more harness, and then once this is all done and buttoned up, I can wire wheel the entire thing. Maybe even prime it today, which would be nice. This has to be primed, cleaned up, and primed. And get all these welds and stuff covered up, all protected. So there it is. I drilled the hole with this guy, step bit. 7/16 is the hole, and then I went halfway in with a 1/2 inch, which allowed me to sink the nut into the bumper, and then I spot welded it around. I did the same thing on these two, here and here. So I sank it about that far in, and then sank the nut into the recessed the nut into the bumper. And I spot welded it, ground it down flat-ish. It's not perfect, but it's good enough for government work. And here I drilled the 3/8 hole in the middle. The screws these come with were shit. I went to screw them into the hole and it broke off. I had to extract it from the hole. So I put in these self-tapper hex heads, and it is good and solid. When I prime, I will probably pull these out, pull this out, let it hang. And when I get in it from the backside, I will silicone the hole around the wires. These here are fairly protected. Let me even grab the harness here. These come already pre-greased with a rubber protectant. I'll have to put these in a harness. So 2 of these wires will go together on each light, because one will be a brake light, and then the opposite one will be a blinker. So either a brake light down here and blinker up here, but both of them will be a tail light. When I turn the lights on, this outer ring on both lights will light up, and then blinker on the inside, brake light on the inside, on both sides. So that's the project for today, is to get this bumper buttoned up. I already have the harness, and I may have to work on that corner where that harness is, because I don't want to be welding on that when I put that big plate in and melt my harness. So I'm going to have to box in that corner right there where the harness comes down the wall, which it needs to be boxed in on both sides anyways. I need to fill that gap, finish connecting this floor to that floor in those corners. So hopefully there's enough time in the day for me to get it done. So I'll see you in a bit. Alright, let's take a look here. Lights, license plate bracket, license plate light, lights. Now we come down here. Oh, bear with me. Now I'm getting back into my place. You see I got all my stuff set up. Oh boy. I'm glad there's room under here. So, we got all the grounds going to locally. Even the license plate light. I grounded it up here. Now, should I start to carry anything heavy on my deck, I was just looking at this. From here to there, basically is free floating. I can cut a shim to fit here. And I may do that. I may just cut a shim to fit this. Weld it on. It's just going to be a support block for anything coming up the ramp. Same with over here. You know, I don't believe I will put anything that heavy on. You know, I got the side beam over there. But this whole back piece, I don't want it bowing in the center, bringing anything heavy on or bending those side rails over there. But here's where I'm at. I got the brown is my tail light, yellow is my blinker, brown tail light, green blinker, red brake light, red brake light. For my light to my license plate, I'm going to attach it in here to the brown, and then I'll tuck it back into this harness, and you know, I'm heat shrinking everything. So when I cut that, put it together, it'll be crimped and heat shrunk. And then put back into this harness, taped it back in place. You know, it'll come right into the harness right here and be all buttoned up nice and tight. And I have my harness here running along the rail. I have plenty of line. Now we'll be putting probably brackets in along here to hold this down into the corner as good as I can. Lighting in here stinks. And then we'll wire up this over here to the 7-prong and have it all tied in and covered up with a bigger harness. So the wires will be tied into here, to be tied in at the end of the harness. Come down in the big harness. This harness will come in and tie in to the big harness. This harness will tie in to the big harness, which will come down. So this will be like this, but not as many wires, of course, because they'll be tied together, and come down to the 7-prong here. I already figured out my wiring. I figured out my auxiliary. Big red one here is going to be the auxiliary. So if I tow anything with the battery box on it, this here will be my trailer brake. Let me separate these out of the way. And I did do this on purpose. I have yellow, which will go to yellow. The gray will go to the browns. Orange, got this yellow's tangled up here. Okay, there we go. Orange will go to green. So you got orange to green, yellow to yellow, gray to brown, and then red to red. So red will be my brake lights, gray will be my tail lights, orange will be my left blinker, yellow will be my right blinker, big red will be auxiliary, big orange will be my trailer brake. So I'll get this all buttoned up and show you what it looks like afterwards. Well, there you go. License plate light, tail lights, a little bit of smoke coming out being running. I will kick on some hazards here. hazards on the dashboard. And come back here, and we have hazard there, hazard there. And I stepped on the brake lights, and yes, it lights up. So we have fully functioning lights. See you in a bit. So what I did, I hooked everything here. I will hook these to the wires that are going to their appropriate places. Tuck this up here, gang these all together in another harness, and bring it down here to the 7-prong. So now all I gotta do is hook one wire there to the end, blinkers as well. So I got my right blinker, left blinker, tail light, brake light. That's the only one that won't be hooked up. There's no spot on here for the brake light. Yeah, because I'm going to have a brake box on here for trailer brakes. So, go through the paperwork. You see, it's your right turn, electrical brake, backup, tail light, left turn, and auxiliary. You know, the electrical brake, that goes off of the brake light wire up front and then powers this one here. If I hook just the brake light up to this, now on a regular 4-prong without a trailer box, this would just be hooked to the brake light. And then your right turn, your left turn, and your tail lights. But being that I'm running trailer brake box in the front, brake lights no longer get hooked up. So I'm just going to heat shrink these together, pinch this end on the heat shrink tube. I'm not going to crimp it because I may have to use it in the future. You know, if I had more brake lights, I just plug in here and hook the lights wherever I want. But because I'm using a brake box, this orange heavy duty will transcend to the front of the bus and be hooked directly into the brake box, so I can control the amount of pressure on the trailer brakes. You don't want to be dragging a trailer with 4 stop tires, so you know you need to keep an eye on them and keep the proper tension set. You know, it's going to be hard to tell behind this bus what it's going to be. So you have 7, I believe. You have your electrical brake, right turn, left turn. Oh, backup is the only one I'm not using because of the backup lights I'm putting on. So, and the backup on this is in the center. So this center piece here will not be used. Everything else will have a wire to it, and it will have a appropriate connector on it. So we're gonna get this installed, get it hooked up, and we will see what comes out of it. See you in a bit. Alright, there it is, all wired up. I have to figure out where this meets. I'll put a little bit of tape on this so when it slides through, everything stays together when this locks in. Then I will install it over there. Then I will take its corresponding wires, clip them to length to make this one solid harness, and I will cover it in a harness. And we will have a wired back end. And this will all be, you know, tucked in all nice and neat and taped up. And just like I did here, you tape this, all this, you start here, you work your way back, and you work your way back forward, and you work your way up, and you work your way back forward. You make one harness out of it. Same with over here. Started on a big harness, work to the small harness, back to the big harness with the tape. Now we'll do the same thing here with this T. I will wrap here, I will wrap around here, I will wrap around here, and then I will come back and do the same thing in reverse and make it a good sealed wiring harness. And it will come all the way down to here and butt right up to this. I doubt I will get it to fit inside that, but I will have this taped down here upwards that will stick out of the back of this. So, see you in a bit. Alright, so there it is, all loomed up. Nice, neat. I'm going to put brackets up here. I'll put a bracket there, a bracket over there. And then I'll come down here. I'll put some more brackets to hold this in place. And that should be it for the wiring. Everything went well. I'm pleased. And even if I use self-tappers and I drill through to the outside, I'll go out on the other side of the bumper and I will grind off what's sticking out. So there you have it for now. See you in a bit. There we go. Held up there, comes down, ain't going nowhere. It's not hanging down. So now I got to put the brackets on this, get this tucked into place, all this back here, get this wire loom out of the way. Like I said, I either keep it in the lower corner or the upper corner. You know, I need to put it up here. So I might tack weld some of these brackets. I just might fire up the welder, come in here and just weld it to here. Because now remember, all this stuff is going to be undercoated when I'm done. So even these will be sprayed with an undercoating. Everything where I've burnt through with the welds will all be undercoated. I didn't burn through, I just got good penetration. And the whole underside, this new frame, the hitch, all the welds and everything will be sprayed with an undercoating and protected of some sort. So, you know, just like the rest of the bus, got a protective coating on it. And I'll get these. Probably put three, one in the middle and one at each end, just tack welded in place. You know, they got these nice little tabs on them. All I do is I open these up. I open this up here, tack weld this to the frame. Like, you know, tack weld that to the frame, and I can just open it up, put the harness in there, and that holds it in place. So I'm gonna give that a go. Trying to self-tap through this here, man, it's gonna be a tough one. I could always hang the loom here. You know, I could always put them up here. That would be a lot easier to self-tap through. It's not as thick as this, but it is pretty thick. So we'll see. I'll let you know I'll show you when I'm done, what I've gotten. So see you in a bit. Well, here's what I ended up with. Put one there, and I got those two over there. So it's secured. And when I'm done, this, I just have to weld that plate up there. So I'm leaving this loose. So this is going to get pretty hot right in this area. You see where that seam is? That other plate's going to come over about this far. If not farther, maybe right over top of this. And get welded in place. So with as hot as this is going to get, I don't want to melt my harness. But there's holes all along this channel I will tuck this in to that channel like so and zip tie it along there, and then I'll just have this like little loopy thing over here. So there you go, back of the bus, all wired up, everything working and functional. So I'm gonna get my mess cleaned up. Everything's grounded to its local grounds. Everything's working, man. This is great. I could actually go register it, and it'd be legal for the road. Transfer title to a RV, and it would be good. I could go places with it as it sits. I'm not gonna, but I could. So, I still have too much work to do on the inside. So I'm gonna get my mess cleaned up here, out from underneath the bus, and I'll see you in a bit. All right, got all my marker lights working. These I replaced with LED marker lights. They are blinkers, so people can see you turning while you're on the side. I replaced that one with I think I'm gonna get more teardrops. I like those ones better, but it wasn't working. It was bad ground, so I replaced it. Oh, they're all working. All my marker lights, my blinker lights, that side marker light are all working now, along with tail lights, blinkers, brake lights, and hazards. So, as ugly as she be, I'm not gonna go too damn far like this. You know what I'm saying? I don't want my windshield falling out. I gotta get a company out here to give me an estimate on that. But legally, she is set. All legal requirements to be on the road is met. Headlights, blinkers, high beams, low beams, marker lights, all the good above. So I just realized while I was in the garage, I looked back and my marker lights were still on. So I may eventually have to replace the switch on the headlights, because everything was off except for my marker lights. These weren't on even as running lights, just my marker lights were on. So I got that all taken care of. I think it's looking pretty good. I'll take that back off. I'll wire wheel all this, tape my lights, wire wheel it all, and then give it a good coat of primer. And we call this area done. I am ecstatic. That was a big issue, and it is no longer an issue, so that's awesome. So I would like to park this out front where it's a little flatter surface where I can actually get a measurement on what the gate's going to be. Get it, you're at a campground, you're not going to be parked on an angle like I got this thing parked. All my cords, welding cords, everything, they'll reach the front garage door, so that might be my next move, is to get it out front, get it on flat level surface, and then go from there. But while I'm here, I'm still going to get that plate seamed. I got to get it cleaned off, get the back of it primed, get this area primed. Maybe tomorrow morning. Get it all wire wheeled, get a good coat of primer just in that one spot. Get that thing primed. Just got to sit 24 hours so it can rain after my primer's cured, because my primer's good, rust preventative, everything. But I need to get that on before I can weld that plate in place. So I am going to, I already did the top. Like I said, I'm at that seam right here, this last seam, but I still have to sand more here and finish up these corners. And then the other side I have to do, and I still have the 3 windows up front to do. But the roof on down is all every seam and every rivet siliconed up to, on this one it's that seam, on the other one it's that seam. So I got that seam and then that seam. And I do believe I even got most of this sealed, and I haven't done this part here yet, but yeah, right here. I am to here, with the seam sealer. Not down here, I haven't got this part yet, but from here up and down, top, bottom, all sealed on this side. So, but I am still getting moisture a little bit this morning. And this is the floor rivets, and the moisture coming in at the corner where the floor, right here, where the floor meets this, there's an open hole into the wall. I can't feel anything from inside the fender, absolutely nothing. So I can't see if it would be getting in, because even if it was leaking through these rivets here, it would just run out. But like I said, I don't have these rivets sealed yet. I don't have this rivet sealed yet. So, and I don't have, well, that's down below the floor line. So, I don't know, we shall figure it out. But you know, like I said, I don't have my glass. I don't have the glass cleaned or sealed. You know, every one of these is going to have to be sealed all the way down. Gaskets are old. They're bad. I'm not pulling them out and tearing the windows apart just to... This stuff here seems to be working really well. So, you know, it's $35 for 4 tubes. So, you know, he's like, you know, when you spend that kind of money, you expect it to work. And from what I seen this morning, I had no drips inside. The up top, up there, where all my wiring's going, where the speakers are going, it was all dry. Everything was dry in there. So, I'm thinking it's working. Alright everybody, if you like today's content, please like, share, subscribe, leave a comment down below. Whatever you're doing out there, you be safe, you have yourselves a great day, and we shall see you tomorrow. One part of the bus done.